My name's James Gregg. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Motive. I was one of the original founders of the business and started it back in 2010. The company's got 3 products and service lines. We call them divisions. The first one is engineering. We design and manufacture equipment mostly for the back deck of vessels and platforms. We also sell that equipment to clients. The second product stream is the rentals division. So that would be lifting equipment, cable handling equipment, umbilical handling equipment, any kind of support equipment required for the vessels when they go out and do their operations offshore. And the third one is what we call inspection. So we do inspection work on, again, vessels and back deck.
There was minimal technological advancement over the last probably 5 to 10 years within the area, with clients wanting to rent trusted pieces of equipment that they had used before, and equipment that they knew would be able to complete the job.
The drilling industry in particular have really embraced digitalisation, but a lot of other ones haven't.
So the aim of this project was to digitalise both the processes and equipment used by Motive Offshore Group.
So this KTP project is unusual and it's quite a broad project. It's not a specific thing that was developed. The project required the development of engineering tools. New sensors were brought into play for Motive's equipment. The data from those sensors needed to be captured, so we needed to develop devices that could capture that information. Once the information was captured, it then also needed to be stored somewhere, and it needs to be accessible at all times globally. And then once the data was stored, it needs to be stored in a way that allows the information to be quickly understood and analysed, which then leads on to the analysis of the data itself. So there's lots of parts to that process. There's a system design for the whole thing, and then there's different types of engineering, different types of software development that were required for different aspects of the project.
We analysed Motive's back deck operations in order to understand areas in which we could gather data to improve our performance and efficiency. One of those areas that we identified was in the cable laying operations that Motive undertake. A lot of Motive's core business is clients asking us to rent both our people and our equipment in order to lay cables or umbilicals for them at sea. To monitor the force that we are putting on that umbilical and the amount of umbilical that we've paid out, we used an existing piece of equipment which was notoriously unreliable and also inaccurate.
We've developed our smart winch system. So this is a monitoring system really, which can be fitted on not just winches but any back deck mechanical equipment. So that would be electrically driven equipment or hydraulically driven equipment. That's something that allows us to collect data.
Being able to understand how our equipment is performing and how it's being treated when it's away from us is really important. Through the information that we're gathering allows us to perform predictive maintenance and perform checks based on how our equipment has actually been used.
We're really still in trial stage. We're starting to roll it out to some of our key clients. We're currently manufacturing 4 brand new winches with the smart winch system incorporated in them. Myself and Ed presented at a conference at Subsea Expo exhibition. There was a lot of interest there, but we're going to do an official launch in the media. The next stage really is to develop the customer dashboard.
That's looking at how we present the data gathered and how we analyse the data gathered, not only internally within Motive but also externally to our clients.
Our smart winch system can tell the clients how much carbon is being used by the equipment or has been used in equipment for their project, which they need to report up to their clients. But they'll also be able to access other data that they need for their projects, such as project schedules, photographs of equipment, that type of thing.
Currently, we've seen numerous benefits of the technology that we've created, an example of which we had a client that wanted us to conduct experiments for them to analyse parameters using the existing technology. We were unable to measure this data accurately enough. However, using the new technology that we've created, we were able to conduct a week of experiments out in the yard in Norway and provide them with all the data that they needed.
A knowledge partnership is a collaboration between an industry and the university, where the industry has a problem that I've identified, and the university can provide a solution through the knowledge that the university has about that particular problem area. And that knowledge partnership then transfers the knowledge the university has into the business, so that the business can then solve that problem and can make, be more profitable.
Our chairman at the time had a prior experience with KTP and recommended it because he'd been through an extremely positive experience with one previously. When we read into it and did a bit of research, it seemed it would be an ideal fit for the business, given that it would allow us to have a full-time graduate working on the project, but also the added advantage of having access and resources from the university.
So the collaboration between Motive and the University of Aberdeen began from an inquiry by Motive into the university's research and innovation team. That initially led to an innovation voucher funded by the Scottish Funding Council. An output of that was then the application for the KTP, which was successful.
We have a second KTP, which is in the recruitment stages just now, and that was for 2 years, so it's slightly longer than the previous one. The project for them is ultimately developing the dashboard that I talked about. So it's taking the data from the SmartWin system that Ed's developed and other areas of the business.
So the benefit of the project was I could work closely with Motive, and it allowed the company to understand the advantages of technological enhancement and also the benefits that this could bring, and that resulted in my current role of R&D lead being created specifically based on the outputs of the KTP project.
We've been doing R&D since we started the company, but it's been done probably on an ad hoc basis. But to have a full-time resource and almost a structured department heading that up is really part of the foundation. I think that the fundamental start of our really focusing on an R&D with Ed heading it up. I think one of the advantages with Ed is he had quite a bit of experience after he graduated. He worked for one or two other companies in automation. He did some time with an F1 company, so he brought a lot to the table, not just the academia.
I was always interested as to how my university learning and knowledge translated into real life industry, and that was one of the main reasons why the KTP project really stood out for me. It was a chance to work within academia developing skills while also working within an industrial setting. As part of this KTP partnership, there are numerous budgets which are available to the associate. The first of these is a development budget which can be used on professional courses or the attendance of conferences and seminars throughout the lifetime of the project. We also have a travel budget as part of the partnership, and that allowed me to work in various different countries, and it's also allowed me to look at attending conferences and seminars abroad. I probably spent 3 weeks working in Norway over the last 6 months to a year, and that wouldn't have been possible without the travel budget through the KTP partnership.
The project between Motive and the university has resulted in research outcomes, resulted in papers in academic journals, and also the engineering work has resulted in trade outputs as well. The North Scotland KTP Centre have been absolutely crucial to the success of this KTP. From the very beginning, they've given enormous amounts of support for the development of the application form, which is a considerable piece of work. But it's not just about the support, it's also about the guidance that they give for the development of that application. Once the grant has been awarded and the project starts, they also support the project throughout the lifetime of the project itself.
As a result of the work that we completed throughout the KTP partnership, we were awarded an outstanding grade, which was an incredibly proud moment for not only me but for the wider team, both at Motive and at the university. As a result of the grade that we received and the work that we completed within the project, I was nominated for the Innovate UK Future Industry Leaders Award. I've also been nominated for the Scottish Innovator of the Future Awards.
Knowledge Transfer Partnerships, or KTPs, are unique collaborations that drive innovation and create positive impact. Each KTP enables a forward-thinking business to partner with one of the UK's world-class knowledge bases. Together, they develop and deliver a strategic innovation project led by a talented graduate known as a KTP Associate. At least 50% of eligible KTP costs are funded by Innovate UK.